somebody attempt, I swear, make a genuine attempt in the comments section to try and tell me that was enjoyable, to try and tell me that we are actually a decent team to watch in a minute, to say that it was a positive watching that game, that it was just a positive feeling, because it wasn't. I spent the whole 90 minutes trying not to fall asleep. They are becoming such a depressant in a way, aren't they, Celtic? You know, it's just every single game, you're this close to your bed. It is so sad to watch. It's a team that lacks so much motivation, urgency and anything just to make it even somewhat entertaining despite the season we've had. And I don't care what people might try and say about teams playing well against us. You know, we've played some tough teams, and Aberdeen is a team that's finishing, in the top 3 just now, top 3 or 4. I don't care about all that at the moment. I really don't. The fact of the matter is we are so mind-numbing to watch at the minute. And I'm very happy at the fact that it's 5 wins in the bounce, although it doesn't really mean much because, you know, there's no title to exactly play for at this point. I'm very happy that we've went and won 5 in the bounce. It's like a decent enough wee run now. We are winning games, which is the most important part. It is carrying somewhat of a momentum charge into next season, you could say, if there's that argument to be had. But it's just so saddening to watch at the minute. We are not the Celtic team that we've been over the past few years, and of course everything must come to an end, but this is a team that is trying to develop and breed new talent, one of them being the standout player tonight. But this is a team that's trying to move in a positive direction, and with every step that you would think about bringing players into the team like Sorrell, Turnbull, etc., and players like Edouard being there, when you talk about positive steps, it seems every performance takes us back a massive step. The performances aren't good enough, and we are winning games, but you know, panic stations at the end, first of all, is a conversation in itself. But the fact that we went the entire 90 minutes there without really testing Aberdeen, having one decent chance, which ended up being maybe 2 or 3 decent chances, but one shot that went in the back of the net, and you know, just, you know, being pretty poor and a big lack of urgency, it's just not good enough. It's frustrating, and I feel like it is becoming more and more of a task for me to sit down and try and make an excuse of a review video, an excuse of a 3 things we've learned. They're feeling like that's what it feels like they're becoming. It feels like it's becoming an excuse of a video. I don't feel like I'm genuinely able to have a good conversation about the game or make some valid points about the game, because number one, it's the same thing we're seeing game in, game out, but number 2, they're making it as uneventful and bitterly disappointing as possible. There is no excitement, they're draining the life out of it. And I don't know when that's going to change. I think that I have now accepted, as a Celtic fan, that from now until the end of the season, this is the bare minimum. This is what we're going to see every single game. We're going to probably scrape past every team we play, bar Rangers. We'll take them out of the equation for a minute because the games could go either way. But if we do continue to win games, we're going to do it by doing the bare minimum. We're going to do it by scraping the bottom of the barrel, taking 1 or 2 chances in the game, and then sending us to sleep for the rest of it. And I know it's virtually impossible before anyone comes and tries to back up Neil Lennoris. I know it's virtually impossible to play a brand of attacking football that constantly gives you chances for 90 minutes. But there is a style that you can implement. There is a tactic you can implement to give you a form of consistency that's enjoyable to watch, and also just a general style of play that's enjoyable to watch, because that isn't a style of play that we're getting just now. It's not. But we'll move on, we'll talk about the game, and we'll try to talk about the 3 things that we've learned. I feel so negative. It's just annoying that you sit around all day looking forward to the game and then you're presented with that for 90 minutes, because it feels like more of a waste than 90 minutes than anything else. And I love watching my team, I love supporting my team. It's a highlight of my day normally, but now it's becoming a chore to watch because of how slow and how boring it actually is. Now, I'll change it to a slightly more positive tone. I think the first half an hour of the game were really good, and if you took the first half an hour, it had been an indication to the rest of the game. You would have been thinking that it was going to be a good game to watch. You think it would be quite entertaining. I thought we had a good grip on it, we controlled it pretty well. We were looking like we could create chances. I think Greg Taylor looked really good on that left-hand side, apart from the final product. I thought we just looked handy, we looked really creative at points. And then of course Turnbull scoring an absolute peach of a goal, 25 yards out, strikes it well into the bottom corner. What a special talent. And from that opening half hour, I was thinking to myself, we're in for perhaps an entertaining affair for once. I didn't expect it to go, you know, a romping, a 3-4, 5-0 game for Celtic. I didn't expect anything like that by any means, but I did expect it to continue to be an entertaining affair. But once we got our goal, it was like we took the foot off the gas. It was like we didn't really care. And for the kind of last 10-15 minutes of the first half, I was questioning the motivation of the team. I was questioning who wants it, and did these moments of complacency actually exist to the players? Did they notice it's happening? It was just a 15 minute period of questioning each and every single player in the park pretty much. It's like, what is going on here? Now there was a few players I'd probably give the exception, but we allowed Aberdeen to get a little bit of a feel for the game after keeping them nil for 30 minutes or so. They started getting it. I think they had one or two chances. It could have swung another way. I think there was one really good chance coming off the top of my head, I can't remember. But then you go and see them as we move into the second half as well. They get that chance to hit the post, and Aberdeen start to get a really good feel for the game. They come into it in the second half, we just did not apply the same pressure, and it seemed like a 45 minutes of football that the team didn't really care about. And then you come to Neil Lennon's decisions as well. I feel like he made all the wrong decisions. Why does Turnbull not get to stay in the park? Is it the fatigue? I don't know what it is, but Turnbull doesn't get to stay in the park. Sorrow doesn't get to stay on the park. I think the substitutions are mind-boggling, to be quite honest. These are guys that looked like the best players in the park. Now, the man of the match was awarded to Christopher Iron. Fair play to the defence, we kept a clean sheet, and we'll come on to talking about the certain players individually. Fair play to Iron and Welsh keeping the clean sheet. But Turnbull and Sorrow, I think, were having really good games, rightfully deserving of perhaps a man of the match nomination, and they're taken off early. And I don't know why Neil Lennon feels this need to change everything about the way we're playing to suit the needs of the captain, Scott Brown. And I know in that sentence it might give away why he does it because he's the captain, but Brown is big enough and ugly enough to understand that his time is wearing thin as a Celtic player, never mind captain, to give players like Sorrow a chance. So it's just mind-boggling to me that these substitutions get made, and it's really annoying me. But over the course of the 90 minutes, I was really impressed with the opening half hour, and if I was to judge the game off that half hour alone, and I was to turn it off or the network disconnected or something, I would have enjoyed it. I would have said we are going to go on and have a cracking game from them, but the foot did come off the pedal and we went downhill. It wasn't great, but we held on. We win 1-0, and yes, we do have a couple of decent enough chances throughout the game, but I don't think it's enough to suggest that we are convincingly good enough at the minute. We're kind of scraping by, and that's 2 games in a row now that I think that towards the end of the game, or just in against any other team, they could take chances. Aberdeen really tried to pile the pressure on the last few minutes, and look, with only a 1-goal lead, that was us dropping 2 points in a different day. Scott Bain, done well at the end to get down and cover a chance from Lewis Ferguson, but apart from that, these complacent moments just keep popping up for Celtic, and it's so frustrating because I think now I am beyond the point where I can turn round and say, surely we should be cutting this out of our game, surely we recognise this. No, we're almost in March. The time for cutting that out was back in October, it was back in November when it was happening quite frequently at the point. The time to cut all that out was then, and yet it's still happening. We're giving ourselves these frights. The only difference now between then and between October and now is the fact that teams aren't being as clinical against Celtic, it seems. It seems that the chances aren't getting taken, but the mistakes are still there, and they're ready for someone to take, and they're ready to cost us points at a future date. So over the course of the 90, I would say I was disappointed with the way the performance kind of sloped throughout the game. Sloped downwards, I may add, and I'm really disappointed in the urgency of the team. I mean, there was a moment in the game, there was a pass made and it darts through both Brown and McGregor, and if Sorrow was on the park, it would have been intercepted. There would have not been an issue at all. We wouldn't be having this conversation. I wouldn't be bringing this point up. The ball darts through McGregor and Brown, and both of them are on either side of the ball, and it only takes one of them. One of them can absolutely get there and intercept the ball and start a quick-paced counter-attack from it. Absolutely, we had the players ahead to do it, and Brown and McGregor both have the know-how, the intelligence to spar on something like that. And they don't. They kind of stare at each other and hesitate, and the ball darts through to an Aberdeen player. It's poor, the urgency wasn't there. They kind of stop, wait, be urgent, be ready to press, react to these moments. There's none of that there at the minute. And I think that's the first thing that I'm going to talk about, the 3 things from tonight's game. The urgency, it's just not there. Second thing is we're still relying on players to pull us out the mud, aren't we? Edouard has been doing it the last couple of games, and now it's back to being Turnbull's turn. Turnbull with a little bit of ambition in himself to shoot, even though he slagged Christopher at quite a bit, gets a terrific goal. And once again, without that, there was no one really there tonight. There was no team performance to suggest that we would have went on to score a goal at any other point in the game. So I think we're still relying heavily on players like Turnbull, and that was shown tonight. What a player, honestly. He's the future of this club. Tie him down, Get him here. That sounds really odd. I say tie him down. I mean, get him on a big contract. Keep him here. Do the build around him. The squad rebuild. Around Turnbull, please. Yes, thank you. All the rest of it. And I said I was going to come on to defenders individually, and I'll come on to the defenders now as the third part. Number one, I would love us to try and attempt to sign John Joe Kenny on a permanent basis. I think Kenny has to sign for the club. I think that's very important as part of the priorities. I like him. I like what we're seeing. And I'm not saying he's set the world alight, but I just like him. And I think we're going to struggle to find many better right backs. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here, but I just like him. And then Christopher Ayer, just somehow, please, make it happen, Celtic. Throw the money at the man. Keep him at the club. He needs to stay. Give him the armband. Give him whatever he fucking wants. Keep him at Celtic. We need him, man. We really do. It brings that kind of edge to the defence that you don't get with a lot of players. That the fact he can take the ball forward, he can spar on with it, like Van Dijk did all those years ago. He's got so many attributes to his game that some defenders will just never have. He's special, he's a talent. It's never going to happen, but please, Celtic, keep him at the club. And that does it. I feel like the three things part of the video was very short. I kind of rushed through it, but I spoke for a long time about the game itself and my opinions of how boring we are. So aye, that'll do. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Another sort of negative one, surprise, surprise. Go and follow me on Twitch as well. Try and get to 2k as quickly as possible there, so it would be much appreciated. But aye, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.